Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode. We're coming off a victory here in the Xfinity Series, and today we have some Truck Series Racing, Xfinity Series Racing, and the Cup Series Racing, but we cut straight through to the Truck Series where we had subscriber Johnny Bubblenut Sr. the Third. Yes, you heard that correctly, in the truck as he went down the back straightaway here in Pocono, making some moves up the inside, as Pocono, a tough track to always run well at in this game, it seems like. So I wasn't really sure how exactly he was going to finish in this race as he came through turn 3 at this point, continuing to at least move his way forward throughout this race as he came through the exit of turn 3, and as he came towards the final lap in this race, he had gotten up into about P13 there as he made some contact with the truck behind the 0-2 as he came out of turn 3, heading down the front straightaway for the final time here as he would come through to cross the line just in front of the 0-2 of Tyler Dipple to get P13 here at Pocono. So now we set our sights on the Xfinity Series race here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Last time we went to Bristol, we finished second, no stranger to second place in our career mode in NASCAR Heat 3, and now this game apparently. So very excited to get into this race, hoping to have an opportunity at winning here at the short track of Bristol. This is where I won a lot of times in NASCAR Heat 3. I got a win here in Xfinity. We had one win here in the Cup Series, so we only had two, I think, Bristol wins in our career, but we're trying to make it one today here in the Xfinity Series. In NASCAR Heat 4 now as the green flag is up, P12 is the starting position, so a decent qualifying effort, obviously qualifying much harder in this game than NASCAR Heat 3 as we go through turns 1 and turns 2 for the first time. Cole Custer on the inside now as we exit turn 2, and the last episode he got himself back inside the playoffs. Yes, he's second in the points, but he is fighting for the last playoff position right now, as I believe it was BJ McLeod that fell out of the top 20 in points, so that puts Custer back in the playoffs. There's only a few races left before the playoffs start here in the Xfinity Series, so Custer pretty much needs to win to make sure he's safe in this playoff grid now as we go through turns 3 and turns 4 as we come through to exit the corner, completing that second lap. We would actually move all the way forwards here, only 10 lap stages as we came through turns 1 and turns 2, so we got up to P6 as we came through to the final lap in this first opening stage at Bristol as we went down the back straightaway into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time here in stage 1 as we exit the corner. It's going to be a very solid 6th place finish here in stage 1 at Bristol. So certainly happy with that result. Chase Briscoe, our teammate, got P1 here in the opening stage, so a playoff point for him. Obviously, we got 4 wins on the season, trying to make it 5 here tonight at Bristol as we get ready to go green here to start the second stage. No pit stops necessary now as we will be restarting from P6 here side by side with the 19 car of Brandon Jones as the green flag is out. Stage 2 is now underway here at Bristol Motor Speedway behind Christopher Bell and Michael Annett. That front row is led by Chase Briscoe, our teammate, and Tyler Reddick, who didn't get a very good restart. Annett's going to go through to take second place as we get aggressive on that outside, making a 3-wide move, passing Christopher Bell. Now as we go through turns 3 and turns 4, getting to the back now of Tyler Reddick, we're going to make another aggressive move on the outside of him and make the pass, and now we're up to P4 at this point as we went through turns 1 and turns 2. We were getting into a bit of a battle though with Brandon Jones here as we went down the back straightaway into turn 3. We would get to Michael Annett, and so we started to get into a battle with them. We got past Annett, and now it's just myself and Brandon Jones as well as Josh Williams on the far inside, 3 wide as we exit turn 2, but we make it work and get past Brandon Jones now as Chase Briscoe was driving away with the lead, and now as Josh Williams continues to run on the inside, but we will get past him. And as we came through lap 10 of 10 now in this second stage through turns 1 and turns 2, running in the second position as we go down the back straightaway into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time here in stage 2. We're going to come through on the exit of turn 4 to get P2 in the second stage. So a great result for us here in stage 2, definitely showing a lot of pace in this car, and I actually did make some minor adjustments. I turned the wedge down just a little bit, and then I put the right rear tire pressure up a couple clicks or 2, and then I put the track bar up a click, so the right track bar I should say. So it certainly seems to be paying off now as we get ready to go green here to start the third and final stage as the green flag is back on. The third stage is underway here at Bristol Motor Speedway. 15 laps remain here. I did only 13% in the Xfinity race because we do have a Cup hot seat coming up, so if we didn't have that, it would have been at 25% now as we go down into turns 3 and turns 4. Chase Briscoe looking for the victory. He already has a win, so obviously him being a teammate, I'm not afraid to rough him up because both of us are locked inside of the playoffs. We can maybe get a little bit aggressive with our teammate of Chase Briscoe. Cole Custer nowhere to be found, so I wasn't really worried about helping him out to get a win. We certainly want to help Custer get a win, but now as we came through on lap 33, still running behind Briscoe, getting sideways on the exit of turn 4, but we regroup here with 8 laps to go as we go down into turns 1 and turns 2, but there's trouble behind. Tyler Reddick goes spinning into the outside wall here on lap 33. That is going to bring out a caution as it gets T-boned there by the 07 of Ray Black Jr. And now it's going to be a late race restart between myself and our teammate of Chase Briscoe here now as the green flag is back out. And once again, we are underway here at Bristol Motor Speedway with 5 laps to go to settle it out between myself and Briscoe. Or can one of the cars behind us between Annette and his teammate of Justin Allgaier get involved in this battle for the win? Now it's going down into turns 3 and turns 4, being aggressive, sending it in pretty deep, but Briscoe has that bottom lane advantage now as we exit turn 4. We would stick with Briscoe, but struggling to get past him now as we came through, approaching 2 to go. I said we weren't going to be afraid to get aggressive and physical with Briscoe, so we're going to give him a shot to the bumper. And it turns 1 sideways it goes. We give him another shot. The bump and run is going to be successful here with 2 laps to go now as we clear our teammate of Chase Briscoe as we go down into turns 3. And turns 4, he's still sideways, but he hangs onto it now as we come through the center of the corner on the exit of turn 4. The white flag is in the air here in Bristol. A little bit of a controversial move between a teammate and myself. Now as we go through turns 1 and turns 2 for the final time here in Bristol, down the back straightaway, leading the way as we go down into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time. We're going to come out of turn 4 for win number 5 on the season here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Certainly a little bit of a controversial move that will be between the 2 Stewart-Haas teammates. I decided I wasn't able to quite get the run, so I decided, you know what, we're going to go into turns 1. We're going to give Briscoe the bumper. I gave him the bumper. He got sideways. I gave him another shot just to make sure I could really pull off that bump and run, and went on the outside. Usually you'd think I'd go to the inside, but I made it work, passing him on the outside after bumping him. So bump and run for victory. I don't think I've ever done that in a NASCAR game, to be honest. So I was very happy to do that now as we blow the engine in the burnout. But certainly not how I wanted to win the race, but I felt like that was my only option because he was covering the inside so well. And now we have the most wins on the season. Cole Custer still without a win, which is surprising. But so hopefully you guys appreciated that little move for the win. But now we have a Cup hot seat with a 4-star team for Richard Petty Motorsports at Bristol, of course, so we're going to get right into things here.
The Cup Series returns to the last great Coliseum for the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. This half-mile concrete oval is famous for its bone-rattling hits and heart-stopping finishes. Who will come out on top tonight? It's time to find out.
There you hear Rick Allen in the background now as we get ready to start our Cup Series race here at Bristol. Kevin Harvick actually on the pole for this race. We could be at Stewart-Haas Racing next season in the Cup Series as Ryan Preece starts in the back after failing optical scanning station multiple times, and Parker Kligerman failed pre-race inspection, so he's also starting at the back as we get ready to go green here in the number 43 Richard Petty Motorsports car. Now a legendary number and a legendary team now as we get ready to go green as we are underway here at Bristol for our first race at this track in the Cup Series, a track that I think we have a pretty decent chance to run fairly well. The goal is to get a top 20. I know that right off the bat I felt the car was a little bit tighter than expected, so I already was going through in my head saying that we're probably going to get into a few guys here today and make some people a little bit upset, but in the reality of the situation, we're going to be doing everything we can to beat the goal position, and if that means roughing some people up, then that's what we're going to have to do. I did change the AI recovery skill to high because I feel like they just lose too much control when I just give them a light tap, so I decided we're going to finally change that to make the recovery skill high so they're not spinning out because I gave them just a tiny little tap now. As we came through though on lap 8 of 15, we were running P24 and we would continue running P24 as we came to the final lap here in the first stage. I just ran P24 this whole stage basically as I was committed to running this bottom lane. I felt like at this part of the race that was my best option as we came through turns 3 and turns 4. I felt like my fastest option as it came through turns 3, running the top there a little bit over the middle, but the stage would end early due to 10th place already crossing the line. So we get P24, which means we are currently failing the objective here in Bristol, but we would not need to come to the pit lane here. Obviously, when we get to the Cup Series full time, we'll be changing the race length to be longer, as well as we're going to be pushing up the tire wear, so we will have green flag pit stops. Because green flag pit stops is something we only had a few times a season in NASCAR Heat 3, and I want to have a lot more green flag pit stops this time around in this game. Now, Stage 2, though, is underway here at Bristol, running P24, so certainly some work to do as we go down into turns 1 and turns 2. A chance to be aggressive up here on the top there, making some 3-wide moves on the outside of Chris Buescher as we exit turn 2. Down the back straightaway, side by side with the 12 car of Ryan Blaney as we go through turns 3. And on the exit of turn 4, getting into the back there of the 9 of Chase Elliott as we go down the back straightaway. A little bit of a shot to his bumper now as as we go down into turns 1. He's sliding on the track. Now we get to the back of Ryan Blaney. These guys are stacking up a little bit. Now Blaney goes sideways. Not what I wanted to do as we go down into turns 3 and turns 4 on the outside now of a Blaney as we come through the center of the corner 3 line up the middle with Elliott. Now we get to his left rear and he hangs onto it as we go down into turns 1, but sideways the 9 of Elliott goes. But he makes a great save by a talented driver of Chase Elliott as we go down into turns 3. At this point now running into more trouble as we came through on lap 12. Daniel Suarez pushing up the track. I ran right into the side of him, and now as we came to the white flag, this is only 13 laps in stage 2. We are running P22 now as Suarez goes sideways. Now as we exit turn 2, heading down the back straightaway, being very aggressive here in this second stage. Just little mistakes has made me get into some other drivers and cost them some track position, but we would cross the line here in stage 2 to get P21. So not how I wanted to race in stage 2, just like I said, little mistakes was costing other drivers these good races. So 100% my fault on each incident there, unfortunately. But we got to keep our mind set on this top 20 here as we get ready to start the third and final stage here at Bristol. The top 20 is the goal. We run P21 as the green flag is back out. We are on the way for the third and final stage here at Bristol Motor Speedway now as we cross the line. 31 laps to go as we go down into turns 1 behind Kevin Harvick, and there's the stack up again. We get into the back of the 4 now as we exit turn 2, heading down the back straightaway. Certainly a little bit of damage on the back bumper now as we go down into turns 3. A little bit of damage on the right side of the car after we got into Suarez and bounced off the wall now as we cross the line to complete the first lap here in this third and final stage. And now we make the pass again on Suarez to take P21 away as we go down the back straightaway, still lacking with speed in a 4-star car. You can see it obviously down the straightaways, which is a little bit annoying. And now as we came through on the exit of turn 4, doing everything I can to move forward, and sure enough we would move forward as we continued running on the bottom. We had moved up to P16, but we would end up getting a caution here with 19 laps to go. I could not find out what brought out that yellow, unfortunately, but we would get ready to restart here from, like I said, 16th starting position here at Bristol Motor Speedway. The green flag is back out here, and it's going to be 15 laps to go when we get going now as we cross the line, heading down into turns 1 and at turns 2. Once again, jumping all the way up to the top, being aggressive here on the outside of Kevin Harvick and Kyle Larson as we exit turn 2, heading down the back straightaway into turn 3. Jimmy Johnson having a pretty decent run now as we go through turns 3 and turns 4. It's so sad seeing Jimmy Johnson regularly run outside of the top 10 in a NASCAR game when that's certainly not what we're used to seeing in a NASCAR game here recently. Now as we exit turn 2, heading down the back straightaway, we would be running at P14 as we came through with just 8 laps to go at this point, closing in actually on the back of Eric Jones as we went down the back straightaway into turn 3. So we were quickly closing in on him as he moved up to the top. So we ran him down as we came through lap 60. Now approaching 5 laps to go as we look to the inside of Jones, and we make it just a little bit of contact on his left rear as we go down into turns 1 and sideways the 20 goes, and we just briefly get into the wall. He hangs onto it now as we exit turn 2, and some reason they're going to bring out a caution for that, which made no sense at all. As that's one thing I have a problem with in this game, is I barely, ever so slightly touched the left rear of Eric Jones, and he almost spun the car completely out as we go down into turns 1 at this point in NASCAR overtime. So certainly not making any friends here today in Bristol, which has been my fault each time. Certainly something we gotta get control of before we get into the Cup Series next season now as we exit turn 4, heading down this front straightaway. The white flag is in the air. Ryan Blaney on my outside. I made sure I would race him extremely clean here on this final lap so I don't try and make any more rivals. We give him that outside lane that he needs as we go down into turns 3 and turns 4. We are beating our goal currently now as we come through turns 3 and exit turns 4. It's actually going to be a pretty decent finish here for a 4-star team in the 43 car. P12 here today in Bristol as Denny Hamlin wins it. Not how I wanted to get P12 as we roughed up quite a few drivers. None of those were intentional. It was just simply me making just tiny little mistakes, and it was costing some drivers good finishes, which is still all on me, unfortunately. But we do pass that hot seat, which means we will go to Darlington here shortly and get a 5-star hot seat. So we'll see what team it could be. Hopefully it's for Stewart Haas Racing, because that's the team we want to go into the Cup Series with next season, being in their Xfinity Series program. But as always, if you guys did enjoy this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. So in the next one, we go to the last road course race of the road course swing with 4 races left in the before the playoffs here in the Xfinity Series. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.